Hey, what's up, you crazy awesome manifestors? This is Jace with Watch Me Manifest My Dream Life. Today I had a little space at Sunday. Um, Man, I don't know if anybody else put in some long hours, but holy shit, trying to go to France at the end of September, I've been putting in really long days. I mean, I'm not actually working the whole time, but I'm in my car working, going to work, and then coming home from work. Driving like, I think after last night, almost 80 hours this week. Like a lot of work. And that's something I always struggled with in the manifestation process because I, of course, was raised in that old, I'm 55, so my parents are in their 80s. My dad's dead, but my mom's in her early 80s. And, it's like the mentality was hard work pays off. I still believe that. She still believes that. you know, um, that generation still believes that. It doesn't matter how much evidence we have, and how much we can share the information about that. You literally can create anything you want with the right mental and emotional state. That generation still, on the whole, they do not believe you can do that. Like I always heard, I naturally thought that way when I was a kid, but then I would hear my mother would be like, that's so pie in the sky thing. Because my dad would do it too. My dad would dream and have these big fantasies and visions. And now I look back and I'm like, God, all he needed was encouragement to realize that that was legitimate. That those dreams and fantasies and ideas you have are legit. Legit. In fact, they're more legit than the fucking life we're living. It's like they're constantly wanting you to that generate, the generation I grew up under as a child, being indoctrinated by, was like hard work. Just work your ass off until you just work yourself into the grave. Which, I mean, that's kind of what my dad did, but he did purposeful work. He did very purposeful work. He wasn't just grinding for no reason. He did work that he really loved. Might have changed it. I feel so official, like with coffee. I don't know why. Like if you have something to drink, it makes you feel like more. So this morning we're discussing manifestation and how I am not yet manifested my dream life. That's what we're discussing. Let's call it what it is. I've done it, but I haven't yet done that. But I have, you know what? I have had some really good manifestations along the way. Today is day 40 of the 40-day prosperity program. What I'm going to do starting tomorrow in the morning is as soon as I wake up, because I do get up like 6:15, 6:30. The first thing I'm going to do when I wake up is roll over, turn the light on, and post the mantra for the day. And then after this 40-day one, I have a 60-day one, which is totally different. And the mantras are a lot easier to do, so it's a lot more palatable for most people. These mantras can get pretty lengthy. I mean, I think they're brilliant, but I'm that rare person that reads this book and thinks that these paragraph long mantras are fun to memorize and then just like swirl around in my brain all day. Because if I don't do that, like I have an addict mentality. I have all the things that work against you when you're trying to manifest, on a very conscious, deliberate level. I have all of the history and all of the things that, definitely want to take you out of that. But, but the obsessive nature of, people like addicts and alcoholics and all of that, which I fall under all those categories. But the obsessive nature can be very helpful for manifesting. Sorry, I never actually looked right in the camera where I'm supposed to. But the obsessive nature of that kind of mentality, that personality type, can definitely be very helpful in the manifestation process, because you find something that you're really impassioned about and you will obsess about it and you will make it happen faster than the average bear. So it can be very, very helpful. And yeah, so what I wanted to do this check in, and again, I'm gonna I'm not going to say it every video, but I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to look back. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I don't know if I'll be doing this for 10 years before anything really amazing I'm successful at manifesting, but I have a feeling it's not going to be that long. And, uh, you know, it's, I hesitate to say something like, it's not easy. Actually, manifesting is, it's easy, but it's hard as fuck. I mean, or, I guess I would say it's simple. It's simple, but it's hard as, it's hard as fuck because you're rewiring all this crappy messaging that just plays in your system. And for a while, like up to now, I feel like really what I'm doing is I've been swimming upstream like this whole time. Well, at least for this last big period of time in life, I've been swimming upstream. And what I'm trying to do is remind myself daily, like I can stop swimming. I can just let, this is an Abraham Hicks thing, but just stop swimming upstream and let the current turn you and take you. And that's kind of, I think that's the point at which I'm at now. And that's the trusting part, faith part. So I think, I know when I set out to manifest something, how I naturally start doing it first is like I work really hard at the manifesting. I work really hard at it. I'm like, meditate another time. And like just military about my mentality and like, that's a negative thought. That's taking your abundance. Like just, yeah, kind of like drill sergeanting. I drill sergeant myself with all my manifestation activities. But there comes a point when that stops, and you can't effort so much. And that does work against you, so the little drill sergeant in my brain isn't too off. And that, that stuff can take away from your ability to manifest. And so then you get, I get to this point where I'm at right now, where I'm kind of like tired of all of the efforting now. Now I need to like take a little break from all the efforting, still do it. What I mean is when I say efforting, it is entirely energetic. It's like you can go to work at McDonald's for an 8-hour plus 2-hour overtime shift. Let's say it's a 10-hour shift. You're going to work the whole time. And you can go there and be in a state as almost if you are not the doer. Like call back to the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient Indian text. That's the message I got in studying that book is like, it's all about non-attachment and you are not the doer. And if you are a person that believes that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, okay, well then even more evidence that you can do anything physically and do it in the state of I am not the doer. And then it kind of takes the real you inside of this you step out and you can just observe. I used to do this when I was running, like training for trail running. And it was like a really steep and just grueling and brutal. And I'm not going to complain about Southern California weather, but if you're running trails like up a steep mountain at, 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, it's freaking hot already. And I can't imagine doing that shit in like even further south or like Mexico or something. No way. But it's the efforting, that energetic efforting is definitely a deterrent to creating manifestations. And so there is a point, and the reason I'm talking about all this kind of everywhere, but to bring it together, it's like after you kind of get the plane off the ground, you get the rocket off the ground, after you get your kind of your momentum in this, like, you've created some new habits. Hopefully you wake up and the first thing you think of makes you feel good, not shitty. Hopefully soon after you wake up, you do some kind of breath work, meditation, and always start with some kind of visualization, one of your visualizations of something that you want. So that's something I do every morning before I even get out of bed. And then I take cold showers every day. I don't know if anybody's into the cold plunging thing, but I did the whole Wim Hof stuff, and I'd still do the Wim Hof breathing every morning before I meditate. And but if you hopefully if you like along with me, you've anything about this has inspired somebody to start creating their own manifestation process. That's freaking awesome. But you'll notice if you're doing different behaviors for a while, it's because it's new. You have like a built-in excitement about everything, but then it gets to a point where it's not like you need a change, but you need to then take the thrusters off so much, and then it's a little bit more about coasting and accelerating and not efforting so much. And I think that's right where I'm at. And every time I've done this 40-day prosperity program meditation thing, 40 days consecutively, and this time I did it. I didn't skip any days, and it's today's day 40. And I'll do it again. But every time that I can recall and look in my journal in the past that I've done this, because you do journal every time, every day, there was always some shit that would like, can't believe this just happened. It was either money, opportunity, relationship, somebody I was wanting to manifest, dating, whatever just shows up. So it was always, always pretty miraculous and very unexpected is the thing I would say. Every time I've done that 40-day program, the thing that ended up happening from that process was never anything I expected, but it was kind of like something I really needed. It was what I was asking for, So, all right, my comrades. Uh-oh, maybe you can't say comrades. My communist. Like, I'm not nowhere near that. But anyway, that was a weird aside. Yeah, it's Sunday. It was a long week, and just wanted to do a little bit longer of a check-in. And yeah, again, I kind of jumped past total ADHD this morning. I totally jumped past that. I'm just making these. I would love to affect somebody's life. That is, I think, my purpose on planet Earth. I haven't really found the way to do that yet. I don't know what that's going to look like when I've dabbled in it. I've dabbled in helping people, like as a spiritual guide for a couple of guys that were referred by my therapist. And I was in a men's group and a leader in the men's group, and I led the men's groups for, when the leader guy was out, I was like the default leader for many, many years. And I was in that men's organization for close to 20 years or something like that, 18 or 20 years. Still in touch with the guys, but just, I moved and we dissolved our group and kind of moved on. We were like the elders. But, I definitely want to help people. So hopefully somewhere along this way in watching me, or even if they don't find it yet, but maybe down the road they find it, they say, oh wow, this guy's having some success, and go back and just check a couple of the early stuff out and see that, real time, I'm just starting where I'm starting, and be like, yeah, my mom has a nice house. I am lucky enough, to be quasi homeless here for a little while, but I'm starting from zero, and I already amassed a couple of extra gigs, and I was, I think on one of the things I was like, I want an extra $3 or $4 so I can go make a trip to France and see my younger daughter, which I'm doing in the second half of September. I will make videos from there. And yeah, anyway, I'll check in again. A little easier to do a longer video on a Sunday morning. Peace, love, and adventures. You guys go manifest it, but don't do too much.